Everyone, and welcome to Bad Ass Us. That's right, that's who we are, Bad Ass Us, here on Vision and Purpose Media Production. And tonight, as always, we got another good one for you, and it's going to be the matters of the heart. Is our community speaks, and we're dedicating this show to Twitch. We'll be talking about suicide. What does it look like? How do it affect our families, our community? And we love you and miss you, Twitch. So tonight, stay tuned, be ready. It's going to be very emotional, but it's also going to be very enlightening as well. So who are we? We are badass us. We are women, accomplished and divine. Our gentlemen, our brothers, accomplished and determined. Yet, as society see us, we must still change the narrative. Yes, that's right. That's who we are. Badass us. Here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions. We be right back at you. See you on the other side.
Okay, I can hear you good.
Bad ass us. Yeah, that's right. That's who we are. Bad ass us. What? Who are we? We are women. Beautiful,
Well, how's that?
accomplished, and divine.
You can hear it through my thing.
That's right.
Okay, but I just wanted to see if we could hear it. That's all right.
Yeah. Who are
Okay, all right.
we? Are gentlemen. Are our brothers accomplished and determined?
I didn't know you can hear that.
As
Yeah.
society see us, we must still change the narrative. Yeah, that's right. Who are we? The black community. Remember us? We are accomplished. We are determined. We are divine. We are of greatness. That's right. The black community. Bad as us. Who are we? That's right. Who am I? I am the person committed to building the next community movement. What about you? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Badass Us. That's right, that's who we are, Badass Us, here on Vision and Purpose Media Production. Now it's time for me to introduce my lovely co-host, and we are too excited to be back together again and talking about such a, just serious matter, matter of the heart subject matter that we have tonight. We are talking about suicide. So let me introduce Marjorie Militant.
Hi.
Hello.
Belinda.
Welcome back. Yes. And Belinda Stevenson.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing lovely.
Yes, yes, yes. I tell you guys, last week, I'm just going to just say this before we get started. Last week when I heard the news, and I'm probably about like with the rest of the world, I was just like stunned. I was shocked. I personally had a chance to meet him, and I know it's just a beautiful spirit, and so it just weighed on me and weighed on me. So when I text and say, "Can we talk about suicide and dedicate the show?" and you as responded immediately saying yes. And Belinda, your response was like phenomenal in all caps,
Yes, right.
and I know with you and I, this is such a more personal, even subject matter for us. So, yes, yes, and so I want to just do it, and this is something that, and maybe it takes such a beautiful spirit, a beautiful person as Twitch himself to get the communication started on this, because since then, Tyler Perry told his story. You hearing people coming out and being more open and sharing about their thoughts of committing suicide. So I am just thankful and grateful for the both of you all. call and that we can sit here and have a discussion. And Belinda already said, why is it just an hour? We probably need more. I said, I already know. And look, and where's my tissue? So,
I got mine.
yeah, we
Yes.
all, because,
Yes.
me and Belinda ain't nothing but big crybabies, but it's a good thing too, because tears are healing,
Right.
So I never been one of them ones, girl, why you crying? Or, boy, don't you cry. You don't supposed to cry. Yes, you do. That's why they made tear ducts. you know? Yes. So, well, let's jump into it. Like we said, we dedicating this to Twitch, Stephen Boss. Yes. And so suicide, the look within. Let's do that. Suicide, a look within. So I just want to start out. Suicide, what does that look like? Because it look like a
Doesn't have a look.
That's what I'm saying. It looks like many different things.
It looks like me. It looks like Marjorie. It looks like you. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the things you said was that we don't know what people are feeling or what they're going through. So exactly, it does look like everybody.
Yes.
And I've always been open about my struggle with mental health. I'm never ashamed of it because it is important. And people don't realize that when you get in that dark space, you just can't pull yourself out a lot of time. Especially when you don't know you're in a dark space. A lot of times you don't know. So a lot of us are suffering and we don't realize that we have these issues. And people around you don't realize it because you're probably the sum total of your environment anyway, right?
Yes.
Family probably the same way, everybody show up the same way. That's just the way she is. And, we never really take a deep dive because it's a sensitive matter for a lot of people. But a lot of people don't realize they really do need help because they might show up like me. I was showing up bubbly and everything, but I was broken on the inside, but I didn't know it.
Right. And you don't know. That's one of the tricks the brain plays, fooling you into thinking that you don't necessarily think you're all right, but you don't know how far it can go.
Yeah, because you compare yourself to others.
Right.
You don't look like such and such in the
Right,
family or the
exactly.
person that's on the street
Exactly.
screaming out loud. It doesn't always look like that.
Exactly.
And that's definitely true. And I think this is now having us to have the conversation because everybody is saying the same thing when it comes to Twitch, that he has such a bubbly personality, outgoing personality, and just just a nice person. Never got to the typical, or as we call celebrity status, where they don't want to be bothered, or just exactly. He just always made the time to always be nice and kind to his fans and be there. So I did hear right after it happened, one psychiatrist, I was listening to the news, and that made plenty of sense. And she was like, suicide don't always look like that person that can't get out of bed. Yeah, sleeping in all the time, withdrawn from the family. Yeah.
Depression does not look like that.
Yes, it don't have to.
Whether you're depressed or not, you still have to make a living. You have to pay your rent. You have to take care of your children.
That's right.
So putting on that
And you have
mask.
an image. He's in the public eye.
And
Exactly.
see, and that's
create this illusion.
yes.
But you're really hurting on the inside.
And that is exactly what she said. So when you already known for being this happy-go-lucky kind of person, this bubbly personality, you know how to be that all the time. So what she said was, so that depression to them may be they be overly happy. And then if you look at it, and that's kind of like when I thought about and read all the stuff that it kind of led up to that, because 3 days before he was just posting about him and his wife, and yes,
Social media.
yes,
And I'm like, I was trying to look for it.
yeah, it was real bubbly, and that's what she was saying. Sometimes it can be over, like they just celebrate 9 years, and he was just talking about how much he loved her, and have want to have more kids, and 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 the only sign that we know and what is talked about that she realized that it was out of character for him to leave the house without his car,
But
so.
think about it. Think about how dark of a place you have to be in. Get into your car. Have the gun. You've already had it planned out. You
Yes.
knew what he was going to do.
Yes.
But you're in such a dark place to where you can't even pull yourself out of it and say, you know what? I don't think I want to do this. But who's to say he hasn't attempted it before but just didn't follow through?
Yes, yes,
No.
because
You have to be really dark. It's hard. It's hard.
It really is, and and that's what Tyler Perry now that he's saying that it was more than once with him. He had attempted suicide, a couple of times. Just like you said, just end up pulling back and never went through with it. So we never know. This time it actually went through, but you never know what a person is going through before then. Or what the temp was before then, before now.
And
Yeah.
then by the time you pull the trigger, it's too late if you think that I don't want to do this.
Yeah. It's not like taking pills. There's a possibility that you might still wake up from it.
Right.
If you want to die. You think about the young lady who
Jumped off
who
the
jumped off the
building,
building.
and
She
that's
wanted
where I
to make
went.
sure she died.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
extreme. But just to be in that dark place like that, it made me hold my son even tighter. 'Cause you don't know.
You just
And
never know.
just when you think about it, you're right. Your children, and we've spoken about this before about how the generation of young people now are not staying away from talking about mental health issues, and that's a great thing. But then it also is a scary thing because we have to hear it.
Yeah.
But even though you have to hear it, it's the way to get people help.
Yeah. I told my son, come over, mommy needs to lay eyes on you. We had the conversation. Because you assume everything is okay with people. It may not be.
And like I said, people learn how to do that because he was a celebrity, but this is not just a celebrity issue; it's an everyday issue for everyone. There's different levels of depression.
I say that
So
all the time. Different levels of mental
I think
health
that
and depression.
anybody that I know does suffer from depression, even if it's momentarily or if it's every day. People suffer from it, and we learn how to mask it because we have to go to work. We have to look like we're not ready to cry or ready to break down because we have to do our jobs, especially if you're in a position like he was or in a position of authority. Those kind of positions, you have to learn how to do that. It's not a good thing, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah, and that's true. I always say that when people look at others that having mental health, a person that having mental health, what do that look like? It's all of us with that. It's all levels of mental health. Just because we are not diagnosed as bipolar or a schizophrenia or something like that, we think that we don't have mental health. We all have. It's all levels of mental health. If you worry, that's mental health. That's stress. That's yeah. OCD. Yes. Overworking. Yes. No one. And that's the part we have to stop doing is putting that stigma still to it and making people not want to talk about it. And that's just it. So that's why I'm just like always love Belinda because she courageous in talking about it. I'm courageous in talking about because mental health runs so deep in my family. So yes, yeah. So we just but we just talk about it. I have no problem saying it, and I just think we need to know that mental health is all levels of mental health. I mean, we all can have our moments, and that's why even kind of jumping a little bit, but even with the toy drive that we just did, and I remember first set of volunteers that I had years ago, they was like, wow, but this person just drove up in a Lexus. But this person got I was like, guys, look, if you're with me and we're doing outreach to the community, we don't judge. We're not here to judge. So if a person that drive up in a Lexus and we can give them toys and a food basket and it's saving them $400 or $500 that they may now can spend on their child books back to college, their tuition or whatever, if we can just bless them in that moment, that's the money they can take and do something else with, then that's what it is. That's what I'm saying. Everybody have a story, so don't judge somebody by what it looks like. We got to get off of that too, so that's a part of you. Yeah, you can't judge people by what it look like. So what? Look, I drive a sports car, and yeah, I'm just like the next person. The same people I'm helping, I can be one paycheck away from being in their situation, and that's how I always look at it, and that's why I do not judge, because we all have been in situations, and especially being an entrepreneur over here. I can tell you, sometimes it ain't like no steady income. You get no 40-hour work week, and you know what it look like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely. I seen that.
Situations that put you in that area of your mental health being challenged.
Oh yeah.
I know my son was 1 month old, and I had postpartum depression. But my husband at the time had fallen off the roof of a house, and he was the only one working. We had no income coming in. My postpartum depression turned us to psychosis. But God knew, because if he was not home, I would have threw my son off the 24. Because that voice of evil is so loud. I can hear both other voices, but that voice of evil was so loud.
Much
And God
louder.
knew to have my husband fall off the roof of the house, because I suffered with postpartum so bad that it turned into psychosis. And I didn't know it. I didn't know it.
Again, the
I
brain.
cried all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I just thought, like,
This is normal.
Yeah, you're not getting no rest. It's new baby.
Yes,
You know.
and that,
Yeah.
and to a certain extent, that is normal. But the part that is
I cried about
troubling,
everything.
you what?
I cried
Yeah,
about everything.
yes. So I'm saying the part that's troubling is determining when you need help. But even if you're just crying because that's normal, getting help then is not,
Right.
is not a bad thing either.
But you don't know what you don't
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it could be too late, because if he wasn't there, if I didn't scream out and my husband came out and got the baby, I would have, I don't know. I was there.
Right.
I was at the door, at the balcony door. It was clear.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
God knew. My story could have been so different.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, and that's the part. Wow, I just love this transparency here. So that's the part I'm saying. Seeking help and that's another thing. If we can talk about that, and let's be real about this part. And people, it's so easy when you sitting on the other side to tell, oh, you just need to go get some help. Well, why this person ain't go get no help? Well, why they ain't seek no help? It's easy said. Trust me, it is easy said than done. Because like you said, sometimes you don't even know that you're so far in,
You don't
or
know you
you're
need help.
Right. Right. Exactly. I mean,
You don't know.
and that's another thing, but I just think about that so much. Postpartum depression is not something it's very important to know about it,
Yep.
and to not to watch people and know what they're going through.
I worked in a facility. I worked at Oasis Center for Mental Health in Annapolis, Maryland. And just say out of maybe 500 patients, maybe 4 or 5 of them were black people of color.
Right.
And for postpartum depression, white women get help.
Yeah.
They get help, but they are educated on that. So they
Right.
can know. They're educated prior to doing their pregnancy. It's talked about heavily during their prenatal visits. So they know what to look for.
Right. Well, you already know that the disparities for black women when they are pregnant, they're already fighting through that part. So who's going to have the time or even have the opportunity to learn about postpartum depression and all of those things? You're not going to.
And you don't think about the stress hormone that you have. So I nursed my son for 4 years, almost 4 years. And all that stress hormone I have, I gave it to him.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
It's inevitable. And we
Yeah.
don't think about that. So you have so many women that have these babies and going through postpartum, and they're nursing these babies. And these babies are getting it by default. And you don't realize it. It's a domino effect, and we have to get
Definitely.
help.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, it really is. No, this because it's real, and that's just like for me. When Brooke Shields had, y'all know where I'm going with this. When Brooke Shields had came out and was talking about her postpartum, and then you had Tom Cruise to downplay it. You remember? Y'all kind of remember
He
that
what?
story?
Say that again.
So Brooke Shields had came out and was saying, because everybody, Brooke Shields, she was always the face of beauty
Yeah, at
for
that
so
time.
long. And so she came out and admit when she had her child that she was really suffering through postpartum. And Tom Cruise came out and said that it's no such thing. It doesn't exist. It's just
He said many things he
yeah,
shouldn't have said.
mind over matter. And then so. But the end of it all that he did, I mean, it was so much backlash about that. The women came out
Right.
to defend, to
Good,
defend it.
definitely.
That he did eventually come out and make a statement, apologize, and just try to learn more and just be educated on, what it is, because that you cannot say it's not real.
Right,
That's
right.
a real, true emotion that women.
Yes.
It's a chemical
And it's a
change.
responsibility that we have as
Yeah.
women who have people in our family who's going to go through childbirth.
Right.
It's a responsibility, especially when we know.
Yeah.
We know what it looks like.
Yeah.
But it's a responsibility that we have. We can give the information, try to, because we have to become more of a village again.
Yes,
It does take a
exactly.
village.
I agree. I remember. I think I
He was
told this
just
story
talking about,
before, but I had a young woman at my church that had a little child who was about 3 or 4, and she was pregnant, but she sang in the choir, and my daughter sang in the choir too. So I would go to practice because she couldn't drive at that time, and I would always offer to watch the young woman's daughter while she was practicing in the choir, because she was beautiful, but she always looked so like disheveled a little bit.
Yes.
And it could have been, I was thinking it could have been because she was a young mother, but I always watched to see how she was. And when she had her baby, she had postpartum depression, and she killed herself. And I remember when I heard from people that she was dead, I just knew that was what happened. And I just remember how that made me feel, And so I always try to, especially with young mothers, just give them a kind word. I mean, I know we can't be all in everybody's business, but we have to do our part.
But it is our business.
It
It's
is.
our business and it's our
Yes.
responsibility.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying
I
that.
know what you
Yeah,
mean.
Yeah.
Because
But
it's a
it's
very
true.
sensitive subject.
Yeah.
And that's why we have to be so open with it, because people already know when my sister was living, I know her trigger points. So I am going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I'm letting my friends and other part of the family know, I knew the holidays, because she knew knew how much my mom enjoyed, the holidays. My mom spoiled us so much. Christmas, Thanksgiving and Christmas was a big thing in the house. So that was really hard for my sister. Mother's Day, then that was our time to spoil my mom back. So
Right.
Mother Day was a trigger point for her, so, and my mom's birthday. So I'm always making sure she was never by herself,
Yes.
unaccounted for,
Exactly.
and I'm planning
that's what we gotta
something
do.
for us, and also planning something to honor the memory of my mom, because that
Right.
was important for her, So yeah,
And just see how both of you all processed it differently.
yeah.
You both were close to your mom, very close.
Right.
But both of you processed it differently because we
Yeah.
all are different.
Yeah. So
But
when
then
we
that's
come-
why it's our responsibility to take care of
right.
our village.
Yes, I love that. We're going to talk about the village when we come back. So we need to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll see you on the other side. This is Baad Ass Us here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions. We'll be right back at you.
It is key that you mind your mental health.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing this week?
Use the 5 keys to mental
Well, this week
movement.
has been a really monumental week for me. I realized that I was not being myself.
Reaching out.
Be positive attitude person self, like you guys know me to be. I was
Staying
listening to
upbeat.
teaching and get back to that happy, cheery self you guys of me.
This week's been kind of
Being
stressful
creative.
because of all of the workload that we have on online learning. So I've been trying to use different platforms and different websites to help ease my mind and ease my stress.
And what about you, Marjorie?
Well, you guys know me. I just love to work with others and serve them.
Serving others.
Realize that when I serve others, my mind is off of myself.
That's right. And don't forget, self-care is key.
Self-care.
All right. So see you guys next week.
Right.
Bye.
Your mind matters.
Welcome back to Baad Ass Us. This is a wonderful show, and I'm so glad that we are dedicating the show to Twitch and also talking about suicide and mental health, because we all really need to become more aware. And I'm sorry because it was very emotional for us during the break, but it's important that we constantly have these conversations because we are struggling. People are really struggling, and they're showing up every day looking as if they get it all together. And a lot of times people realize they're struggling, but a lot of times they do not realize that they're struggling. And we need to really shine a light on this and stop normalizing so much behavior within our family, among our friends,
Right.
because we don't want to upset this person, or
Yeah.
we don't want to stir the pot, or whatever it is. We have to do better, because we have to become more collective, because we are collective communal people.
Right.
We have the village in us. We've always had
Yes.
that.
Yes,
That's
that's
where
very
we
true.
come from.
Yes.
So how do we
From
get so
slavery
far
times.
removed? Exactly.
That's right.
We need to get back to that,
Yeah.
because we have to be our brother's keeper. It's imperative. Because I just want to say this. I had my nervous breakdown last year in February. You know, I always talk about that. And I showed up every day, everything to everybody, and wasn't anything to myself. And I didn't realize that. And I had to learn how to be selfish. And it's okay.
Right.
Because we all are sponges and we absorb so much. So we have to be careful of not only the things that we watch on TV and social media, but the things that we surround ourselves around and allow people issues become our issues.
Right.
And internalizing things, because we all have our stuff. And I'm not saying that you can't be there for people
Right.
or be a listening ear, but you got to make sure that you are in a place where you can receive it.
Amen.
Receive it and not absorb it.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Amen.
And it's a big difference.
It
And I
definitely
just say we
is.
have to really just do better at that, of protecting our own space.
Yeah.
Because we can't help others if we can't help ourselves.
Right.
And-
And we
and
also
that-
go ahead.
I'm sorry. And that is so true. You made a true, profound statement here, because my dear friend who I always go to, you know, we talk all the time about, you know, what our troubles are. And she having a situation, I know a personal situation, just found out her husband got a terminal illness or whatever. So, and it was something, you know, everything she was going through, then I'm going through, but together, you know, I was just like knowing the fact that how much more can she hold. So I did not share with her, because at that time I needed to receive what she needed for me to hear. So I didn't want to go back now and put mine on compound on top of hers, you know.
Right.
And so that is so true. But
And that could be a trigger for you too, because
Yeah.
you lost your husband
Yes,
to a
yes.
terminal illness.
And being there and just walking her through the steps, what that looked like, what the process is, you know. So I know she needed me to be that, but then where do I go? Because I had, like you said, trouble
Right.
on me that I
Right.
didn't want to put on her, you know. So in making sure that you in a place, and by us having these conversations and being able to talk about, and I think another part of it is why people don't like to talk about the hard part is because it is emotional. You
Right.
know, you see that we all have it, and it's okay. Even if so, because you know we got to realize that we are vulnerable people, because that's how God built us to have
human.
emotion and feelings. And so, yes, these kind of conversations, yeah, it's very emotional, but you know what? It's healing at the same time, because it
Yeah.
feel better out than in.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
true.
so when I release them tears, I know how to release it, and then just like, that felt much
Rebuild.
better. You know, and you rebuild
Right.
yourself. You know, so for me. Don't tell me not to cry. Just let me go through my moment, you know, and then afterwards, you know what I'm saying?
And
Then-
stop being so secretive
Yeah,
about
Yeah.
things.
about it.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
I was, that kind of makes me think about, my dad was a social worker. So my parents changed as the times changed. But when I was young, because he was a social worker, you didn't ask for help or look for things because you're a social worker's child. And so as I grew and as my father grew, when I was going through my divorce and I had two small children, I know I was depressed. I could barely move. I never felt like I wanted to kill myself, but I know that I wasn't functioning. I know that I could not take care of my children
You were alive,
the way
but
that
I wasn't living.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And so that is when he said to me, if you need to get counseling or if there's medication that you need to take, you need to do that. And that's what we need to do for one another too. We
right.
can't hide behind who we think we're supposed to be.
That's right. The image. Image
Yes,
will kill you.
exactly.
And that's another thing, medication. We sometimes we can be so proudful and don't want to go on medication, and
You need that immediate fix sometime.
yes, and it's not a bad thing because I just even remember having a girlfriend. She was going through, and her doctor wanted to put her on depressant medicine, anxiety medicine, and so then she was like, "Well, Karen, I don't think I said, can I tell you something?" And because I know how much she looked up to my mom, I said, "My mom was on it 2 years ago." What? Miss Evelyn, Miss Evelyn, I don't believe it. Yes, because my mom was in so much pain. She was on her 3rd back surgery within 1 year.
Oh, wow.
So just the pain,
yes.
being in that constant pain, the
No
anxiety.
quality of life.
Yeah, so
right.
she was the anxiety that it gave her, that her doctor recommended that she and this my friend could not believe it. After that, she immediately went to her doctor and said,
Right.
"Okay, I receive it."
And sometimes that's all we
it's-
need is some encouragement,
Yes.
a story.
And then you have to realize that there is an issue, and you have to tackle that issue.
Yes.
Right.
Because a lot of trauma that we've dealt with over the years, it could stem from childhood, it could just be life itself.
Yes.
And it happens to all of us and the best of us.
Yes.
Right, right.
Yes,
And it can
Lord.
happen in the blink of an eye. You can
Yes.
be perfectly fine. Well, at least you think you are. And then it could be something so simple where that's the straw that broke the camel's
camel's
back,
back.
and you blow up
Yes.
and you lose it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's compounding because
Right.
we are pressure cookers. And I always say your parents, back in the day, our parents taught us how to lie. Don't tell what's going on in this house.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And they
Yeah.
teach you how to lie.
Yeah.
And you're doing a disservice to a lot of kids because of that. Because you have kids that's in
they-
households
yes.
been molested,
Right,
Yes.
been
right,
abused in
exactly.
ways.
And then to show
Exactly.
up in their adult
Children
life.
should be
It shows up
encouraged
throughout
to.
their entire
entire
life.
life.
Yes,
Work
definitely.
relationships, business relationships, personal relationships.
It does.
All your ships, it shows up in.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. I thought you
Sailing
said
that
the other
sea.
word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
But yes, and
shows
that is
up.
so, and that is so true. And then another thing, and I'm saying this sometime with our males, stop telling our males that they cannot show their emotion.
Man up.
Yeah, yeah. What that mean? Because that's what, like I said, God
Acting
give
like
us
a girl.
all
Yeah.
emotions.
Come on.
You know,
yes.
and right now, I'm gonna say one our dear and personal one is
Oh,
going through something
okay,
right now.
right.
You know, and I think the big part of it is because it's a man, he think that he got to be healed and ready, and don't realize it's a process. Because when you try to heal yourself so fast, all you're doing is, like you say, putting
Putting a
that
Band-Aid on
mask,
it.
Right,
putting that mask,
right.
and then it's gonna come and hit you like a ton of bricks out of nowhere,
Fall
and you're not
apart.
gonna understand where is this coming from. That's because you're not allowing yourself to go through the process. Don't
And
be
you have to
listening
trust the process.
Yes,
Right,
you have to trust
exactly.
the process, and don't listen to everybody that's telling you where you need to be at, where
Yes.
your
Right.
emotions need to
'Cause
be
you didn't
at.
get there
It's
overnight.
different. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
It's some
different for
years.
everybody.
So it's gonna take it's gonna
That's
take-
very
and
true.
It's a constant battle.
Yes.
It doesn't go away.
And that's like I say, you're gonna have to work at it for the rest of your life.
That's right.
However you process things.
Yeah, it's a process, and that's something you have to do and work at it. So I'm gonna jump ahead on one, mention that like death. I tell
No
everyone,
one seeks counseling for that.
oh my gosh. Now
just
you
go
talking
on.
about being real. I'm gonna tell you something. Death is you 1 foot in and 1 foot out of insanity. The ones who's here, because when your loved one passed, that's why even my heart, when I heard my heart even go out for his wife, because this is something, that it's gonna be everyday ongoing process
Right.
for her to pick up the pieces now, have to go on, got
And you wonder
got young
why
babies.
she didn't see it.
Yes,
Was it
and
in
she
Yes,
gonna,
always
she gonna
questioning
feel
herself.
guilty.
Right,
You
exactly.
feel guilty. You start blaming
Yeah.
yourself.
That's
Why
right.
didn't I? I should have.
And we
what
do
I'ma
that-
tell
we
the
do that
kids?
with normal death.
Yes, and with regular death. Yeah, So so and that's the part. Even the loss of my mom. I'm telling you guys, I thought it was a hole in my heart that I thought would never heal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's the part that I was saying. I'm telling everybody, I was like, they was like, Karen, how you doing? I said, it's the grace of God keeping me, because trust me, I am 1 foot in and 1 foot out of insanity. And that's real talk right now. When you lose your loved one, that's just how it feels.
It
And
is.
then another thing I heard, I went through the whole social media thing, and I get really disturbed when people say, suicide is selfish. No, what's selfish is you not understanding that people have some stuff with them.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That they are unable to work through.
Right.
It's selfish of
you to even say that.
Exactly. And not to understand that
And
people,
to judge.
Yeah, exactly.
work is hard.
Right.
Imagine brain work. You
While
dig
you're
those
trying
demons-
to work.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We have to get away from that.
Yeah, we
Or
do.
trying to one-way ticket to hell. You stop trying to. You worry about your soul.
Well, that's
Don't
what I
worry
was going
about
to
someone
say.
else's.
Why not make that the first thing that we all do? Make sure that we stop for a minute before we judge, before we
Yes.
open our mouths to say anything about
Yes.
anything, and just think, what if it was me? What if it was my child?
Yeah, that's why I got in a lot of fights when I was young, because I dared anybody to tease my sister and mess with my
Yeah, right.
sister,
Right.
And I never forget. My sister was older than me, y'all. And, she's 4 years older than me, and I never forget. We had just moved around this new neighborhood, so she was always, the signs was there, because she was quiet and always withdrawn. Just as a child, she was just always to herself and quiet. And so we from the South, so you hear our Southern drawl, right? So kids can be mean sometimes, and I never remember they messed with her. So she was like, I want to go outside. I said, well, come on, let's go. She's like, no, they're gonna tease me. And I'm like, I clearly remember this, guys. I'm telling you, when I say I was no more than like 7 or 8 years old. So now, like I said, she's like, 11 or 12, because she's 4 years older than me. And I remember going outside, and I said, my sister coming outside, and nobody better not mess with her either. Well, I'm going to beat you up.
Yep.
And so-
That was part of the
That's how we have to show up for our
right.
village.
My brother's
That's
keeper.
how we have to
That's
show
right.
up for our
telling
village.
We have
That's
to show
right.
up.
I'm telling you now. And my sister, I said, come on. I had her there. Come on, you coming outside.
And she probably didn't even want to go out.
No, she didn't. And I put it all on Front Street, because back then in the village, everybody hung out on the porch, and you
That's
jump
right.
and rope, and and even a few parents that was out there looked at me like, okay.
And
but
kids
I
are
always,
cruel.
yes,
Kids
they
are
are. They were
cruel.
so mean. But I always protect my sister. I wanted her to know that long as I was around, I had her protection.
She was
You
going to
did
be
it all the way
safe.
until she died.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
caretake for
Yes,
her.
I'm
You had
telling
her.
you, because we, and like you said, so that's just selfish of that person that needed to be on social media talking about somebody is selfish about committing suicide. You never know what they are going through. You know what is selfish is the person to
They
say
say
Right.
selfish
something
to
like
leave
that.
his kids behind. I'm like,
Oh my
you know,
gosh!
if your kids wasn't your white power, then you are in a dark place.
Right.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, yes.
Exactly.
You know, if your kids is not your
Exactly.
white power,
Right.
that's a dark place, and that's the stuff you have to unpack.
And besides the fact that, how do we judge someone that we don't even know?
Nope.
Or even if you did know him,
Yes, but
because
at
you can have
least-
family members that say
Right.
that. I have heard that before.
Yes,
when
I can't believe
somebody
that you-
they killed themselves.
Worry about your own soul.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Exactly. And that is so true. So guys, I want to talk about this part of just suicide, depression, and all the things that we talk about. Like we saying death. We know death, you 1 foot in, 1 foot out, as Sandy as well. But being abused, that alone can be a silent killer for a lot of people,
Right.
because
Right.
they so embarrassed and so ashamed to tell their family and friends that they rather take their own lives and then order than to tell, and
Or been abused.
yes,
Yeah.
or been abused,
Right.
and
Right.
so this is another reason why I want to talk about it, because it just seemed like it just kept showing itself up for me all this week, because I had a neighbor that kind of lives around, because my street goes in a circle, and she kind of live more around on the circle. So now I'm walking my dogs, and I'm coming back this way. I start the circle this way and come around. So now I'm 2 houses from my house, and I saw her there. I'm like, what is she doing here when she lives around this part of the circle? So I was like, hey, you okay? And I can tell she wasn't. And she didn't want to say. I said, please let me know. Are you okay? Because you're at my house and I know where you live. And she just said, I'm looking for my phone. Can you help me find my phone? And so I said, okay. She said the tracker was saying it was somewhere right there. I said, well, I know this neighbor. You know, he's very friendly. So we can knock on his door together, you know. And so when we first knocked on the door, he didn't answer. And so then I said, you know what? I said, let me put the dogs in the house because this neighbor and him are very friendly. And I know he wouldn't mind. We knocked on the door. So in that, she saw me being patient enough. And she said, I said, how did you lose it here? And then she's been abused. And she said, I wish I would have known where you live at because I'm always speaking to her. And she stopped me when she see me with the dog. She said, I was barricaded in my house.
Oh, my God.
And she was, you know, scared to come. I said, so what happened there? Because, you know, I said, so she said the sheriff department came out, took him, removed him from the house. She haven't been to bed. She just getting
But
home.
she still can't sleep.
Yeah, she was just saying she just
That's
getting
right.
home for, you know, all the charges and all that stuff she had to file, whatever. And so sure enough, the neighbor did, the one of his kids found her phone.
Okay.
So they did have the phone. And I was like, is there anyone that you want me to call for you? And she's like, my family don't know. And I was like, and that's true, guys.
That's
and
a
the
lot of women's
abusers
story.
can do that. They isolate you from your family,
right.
your
Yes.
friends. You know that if it wasn't probably God just having her to trust me to even tell me that much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I made sure I got her number from her, and I text her, you know, and just texting her, and she probably didn't want to say nothing because she know I saw the sheriff around her house like a month before that, and you know, so this is second time within a month, and so and all I told her, and so when she called me, she said, Karen, thank you so much, you know, for being there. Now I know where you live or whatever. I said, and let me tell you, I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking about the behavior.
Yeah, the situation.
I say, as long as you keep accepting and allow him back in, it's going to escalate. Just like this time, the first time you told me, okay, he just walked out. This time, then he barricades you in the house.
Right.
You know, and it's going to escalate. I said, so just know that you're not alone. If you need help, you're not alone. And that's what she was saying. She feels so bad. She feels ashamed. She's guilty.
Yeah, because
she
people always
guilty.
tell you should just leave. It's not always
it's
It's not
easy.
that easy.
It's not always
that
that easy.
that gives you
Exactly.
shame too.
That's
And
right.
that's what I told her. I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you about the, I'm just telling you about the behavior, you know, I'm not, and that's why they don't like to open up because people, like you say, always say,
Because they end
you
up going
need to
back
leave.
and you're ashamed.
And then when you take them back, then your family and friends looking at you like, you know, and so, and that's what I just told her. I said, you know, the first thing is to love yourself and protect yourself and understand it's not him, it's the behavior.
And you got to know
You
what
know,
loving
and if it
yourself
go,
look like.
yes,
Yeah, that's
and
true
when it
too.
go
What does that look like?
untreated,
But this
you
is
know.
why it's so important for us to educate ourselves
yeah.
so that if we run into situations like this,
Yeah.
we can help how we can help.
Yeah, and that's why I say I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the behavior.
Right.
You know, because being around domestic violence enough, or these are the things like you say when you educate yourself. That's what you know.
Right.
And every time you allow them to come back, that's empowering them. And guess what they doing? Stripping you of yours.
Right.
You know, and
it
so
strips you of so
yeah,
much. I've been there
yes.
at 19.
Yeah.
It strips you of a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what she was saying, you know, that she was just, you know, I can just see that can be a choice for her. Either it's going to get to the point, it's going to escalate, that it's going to end, you
Because
know,
she thinks she
badly.
loves him.
tragic, some kind
Because
of
she
way.
probably, you know, what is love?
Yeah.
You know, if love is, maybe she had an abusive father.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
And so that's what she thought love was.
Hey, you don't know.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about death. I want to go back to that
Yes,
because I
yes.
want to talk about women who have miscarriages.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
They do not go and seek help for that.
Yeah.
Like therapy for that. That's a loss.
Yes.
Because that bond begins
Right.
in vitro.
As soon as you know
No,
you're
as soon as you
pregnant.
know
I
you're
get ready to say
pregnant.
day one,
That's
when you
right.
get that positive
That's right.
Right.
And
It's
people
true.
think
You're
because
connected.
given-
You are
given birth
connected.
to that baby,
that it's
people
not
think
real.
like, oh, it's not real.
You're right.
No.
No,
Or
it's
just-
something that
or-
you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
And you know that you're responsible for growing this inside
That's
of
right.
you.
And then you have that next baby, you get pregnant again. That stress hormone, because you are stressed because you're
Right.
scared it's going to
It
happen
happen
again.
again.
Right.
So you
And
have
then-
this stress and you creating this life inside of you that's been in a trauma womb.
Right. Right.
You know, it's a lot of things that we just have to really educate ourselves on.
Yeah.
And when we know that women have gone through that, like, just talk therapy. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And to your
Exactly.
point, my cousin is going through really hard times right now. And you know what? I still keep calling her. I keep still texting her.
right.
I don't care if she don't respond.
That's what
I
you
don't
gotta do.
care if she don't text me back or call me back. But the presence of her knowing that I'm still doing it, I'm still calling, I'm still texting,
Right.
and that's all I need her to know because she in that
So
miscarriage,
eventually
she don't
she
have
might.
3 miscarriage and one and the last one all the way to birth and stillborn, and then her mom passed in that year. So right now she's in such a dark place that you know she just mad at the world, mad at God, mad at everything.
You
know?
question your
So,
faith.
yes.
And that's a real thing.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
oh yes. So
It
guys,
sure
you
is.
know this. Oh, you right, Linda. We need more than just
Yes, we do.
You are so right, Belinda. I'll tell you now. So we're gonna take another quick break, and we'll be back here on Baad Ass Us on Vision and Purpose Media Productions. We'll be right back at you.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Tania McQueen. I'm the Residential Services Manager for Prestige Community Resources.
What our new facilities are respite centers. We're opening 2 in the city right now. Hopefully we'll expand to more. But respite centers are a place where people can come and get a little additional support with their mental health. Our one on Eastern Avenue is for men, and our one on Minnesota Avenue is for women. Our facilities are for all DC residents, especially focusing in on those in Wards 7 and 8. So they're really nice, and I'm excited for consumers to actually see them. What are the services that we're going to provide? Therapy, case management, medication management, all provided by professional staff, a licensed nurse practitioner, psychiatrists, sociologists, social workers, and then our paraprofessionals, our case managers. It's just a place where you can come and get the supports that you need to work on your personal goals, as well as to get your mental health straight. Simple, single adult, 18 years of age or older, a DC resident. You need to have insurance, but if you don't have it, it's okay. Still come, we'll work on getting you insurance. Have to have a negative COVID test, a negative TB test, and be willing to work on your mental health. For more information about respite services, you can contact us at 202-796-5000 or hit us up on our website at www.prestigecommunityresources.org.
We're going to keep it going.
We're gonna keep it going or go to Marjorie? Y'all
Well,
wanna?
I've changed
we
up
back?
mine a little bit so I can.
We're back.
Oh, we're
Sorry,
back
we
on?
got so caught up in our conversation.
Hey,
At least we were. At least we were. At
Yes.
least
Well,
we're talking
welcome
about
back.
what we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, because we didn't know if we were going to go a little bit longer. I think we
Yes.
should just, because we have a couple of things that we didn't go over.
Yeah.
And I think this topic is just too important to just cut off.
We can do another. We'll do another 15, and then we'll come back
With the
take a
inspirational moment. Yeah.
We'll take a break and then come
I'll
back.
do the inspirational moment. Okay.
Yeah.
About that.
So so we
Yes.
want to talk about holiday blues, seasonal depression. Holiday depression.
Yeah.
Your loved
Yes.
ones not being here, and people
Yeah.
who choose to be by themselves during this time. I don't want to be bothered.
Yes.
No, we have to check on those people.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
Just say, I just
and
want to
don't
be
let
alone.
them. Don't let
Yes.
them. Even
Yes.
if they said, and because that was my sister, you can't make me come over your house. I say, yes, I can. And,
Yeah, we
and-
have to
Yeah,
check
and
on
at the end of the
people.
day,
Right.
guess what? She was so happy when I made her come over,
That's-
and she said,
And
I
usually
made
people.
her come
Usually
over
people
my house.
are.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do in spite of what they say.
Right.
Sometimes you gotta
Right.
see past that and do it anyway. And I love that about this team here. If I must say, we look out for each other very well.
That's right. We have to.
Yeah,
We're family.
and
Yep.
we family.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. That's just like
A lot of
even
stuff.
now. I want you to know you made the great choice. The choice was yours.
Yes.
And you listened to God.
Oh,
and
yes.
Yes.
That's true.
and that and I'm proud of you for that. And we'll just and without talking about it, that's just how we protect each other. And Marjorie, she came in and she asked about another one of our team members. I
Right.
say we're going to keep them lifted in prayer.
That's right.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
important.
And that's what
Exactly.
we do around here.
And see, that's the thing too. You have to make sure you keep noticing when people aren't around that are usually around.
Yeah.
You don't have to know everybody's business to know that something is not right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or
And
not
that's true.
responsive. I have a girlfriend who lost her son, and I know this is a difficult time for her. It's been a few years.
What, the holidays or just?
Yeah, this time of the year is difficult, and I text her here and there. I text her to watch the show. I hope she saw the text, and I hope she watched it.
Right.
Because you have to let people know you're here for them. Because when people lose loved ones, we just push play. Everyone else around us just push play. We keep going on with our life. But those people that actually experience the death, they have to go home to that harsh reality.
Right.
Yes. And I tell you guys, and it's really, truly is a process. And I even love the fact, Belinda, what you were saying, you can go on. I remember one day, this is like even 2 years after my mom had passed, and my husband and I, summertime, we love playing tennis. He was teaching me how to play. Girl, I just knew I was going to beat him. Every week I'm talking to him, when we go on that tennis court, y'all should have heard me. I was talking. I even went downstairs and worked out before we went. He told me, don't leave it all downstairs. That was his thing. Don't you leave it all downstairs. I said, oh, no, when I get on the tennis court, you about to get it today. You about to get it today. I'm going to bring it today. Never beat him, but, hey, I still could do it. And I'm talking mad smack, guys, right? So we on the tennis court, so we doing a little drill to one. I was like, okay, I'm ready. You about to get it today. Then all of a sudden, I just started crying. And I was like, I can't do this. I said, I need to go home. And he just packed up the stuff, never with no question.
Right.
And all the way home, he just held my hand. And you know what? Just holding my hand and not even uttering or saying a word, it was comforting to me. And by the time I got home, I felt better. It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. That hand, or giving them, when I did the whole article on hugging.
Yes.
It's important.
Yes.
That in that physical touch,
Right.
that
really
embrace,
Right.
can be life changing for so many people.
Well,
And
that's what people
why
are
I'm
made
such
for.
a hugger, and
Yeah, I
COVID
am
tried to
too.
take that away from me. But that's why I am such a hugger, because you never know. All my years of hugging, so many people say, "Oh, you just don't know, Karen. I really needed that today."
Yeah.
And it is, and just him holding my hand. It was probably even more than therapy, him talking me through the process.
Right.
Yes.
Is just being quiet and holding my
Right.
hand.
And one thing about death, and especially when we're talking about normal death, and I'm not saying that, because sometimes people are sick and they die, but I'm not talking about suicide. That even if you understand and are grateful for people being able to go the next place they need to go, you're still going to grieve that. And that grieving doesn't stop after a year, maybe not even 2 years. But like you said, certain things bring things up. Like if it's your mom's birthday,
Yes.
it's Father's Day,
the
yeah.
holidays, her anniversary, and for when she passed, I remember I clearly took 4 months off of work, and it was like 4 months, because I can.
Yeah.
That's my mom, and she worth it, And then even for her, like for the first, 3-4 years when her anniversary, her death came, I took off for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yes, because I can.
Yeah.
And right now, this January be 20 years anniversary of her death.
Gosh.
But it doesn't.
And guess what?
Feel like it's.
That womb is still
I'm
fresh.
gonna
It
be
is.
there.
It definitely is.
Yes.
It's been
And
10 years
yes.
with 11 years in January for my father.
Yes.
And I think I told you all this story that when he passed away, that because I was the one who was there with him in hospice, that I just did what I had to do, gave him his medicine, tried to feed him, took care of him. And when he passed away and my siblings came to South Carolina, I was okay, okay. And
Whatever that
then
is.
when they prepared him for the night before the funeral, when you go and you view the body, and they had cut all of his facial hair off. My father used to have sideburns that went all the way down here and joined into his mustache. They cut it all off.
Wow.
And I broke down. That's when I broke down.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Because it was
That was
you know,
identified.
traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was.
Yes.
You know, because people don't really look like they look when they die.
Exactly.
You know, so you just
Yes.
that made it even worse.
And so this is what I do though, because and that is probably the stylist in me. So when every time I make arrangement and I go to the funeral home, I get a picture. I see this is how they look.
Yeah,
Yes.
but they had a picture, Karen,
Yeah.
and they knew him.
Yes, this is how. But I talk it out. I give
Okay.
strict instructions, and because that is true, you know, I don't. And I was like, my mom's skin was just so flawless. I'm telling you guys, because everybody always, you think I got, no, my mom's skin was flawless. You hear me? That even that the people at the funeral home was like, she don't need no makeup. She's so beautiful. I said, glad you said that. With that being said, you see this picture?
Right. Hey, this is how she looked.
Yes.
This is how she looked.
Yeah.
So barely just and I said, matter of fact, and so because I'm licensed, so I'm letting you know,
Yeah.
because I'm licensed, y'all better take me up on it, because my girlfriend, I don't style one of my dear clients, they family had asked me to come and do it. They was like, Karen, my mom always said if she passed away, she wants you to come do her hair. So I'm not even afraid to do that. So I did my mom makeup, you know, I did my husband haircut, Tony, Ashley. Tony came with me, and Tony ended up cutting his hair and everything. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So I don't mind.
But you know what? The loss, and I'm going to say this, but I don't want anyone to think I'm downplaying the way you feel when you lose your father, or, you know, the grief that you have, that a father may have if they lose their child.
Right.
Because, I know I'm a daddy's girl.
Oh, yes, you are.
I'm my daddy's only child.
Yes, and I know
And I
he
love my
probably
daddy.
listen. Yes, Lord.
Yes, but I love my mama, right?
Yes,
I
yes.
love my mama.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that loss, that if you, I'm thinking about my girlfriend, because she lost her son.
Right.
And as a mother, your heart is like a puzzle. You know, every child, or even if you just have one, you know, everyone it's a piece of that puzzle. They're part of that puzzle. And that's a piece that you're never going to get back.
No, I know.
It's always going to be that hole. But as a mother, carrying that child is cut from your umbilical cord.
Not only is it
You know?
a piece of the puzzle, but it's the part of the puzzle that you created.
Exactly. And that feeling that you have, losing your mom, because she was you and you were her.
Right.
You know, you came from her womb.
Right.
Yes, but you know what? To go deep with your friend, and I truly understand, because normal process said that the parent supposed to pass before the child. And then when it's the child that passed away for the parent,
I just
it
can't
is
even-
very, very hard. And I can
imagine.
say,
I know, me neither.
Look, let me tell you, I am here. I can be a witness to that. And my mother-in-law, because my husband, he passed away, and this was she had 6 kids. He was only boy out of 5 girls.
Oof.
And
That's
he
her
passed.
first love.
Yes.
Yeah. First and only love.
Yes, yes.
That's right.
And so, and for the family, Ma, you need to pull it together. You need to pull
no.
It's not, it's not, everybody had their own process to go through. And one thing, when she was around me, I allowed her to go through her process. I took her away. I'm the only daughter that got her to fly on a plane, because she never flew, but she flew with me.
Yes.
And
She needed that.
yes, and I stayed around me and my in-laws
Yes.
14 years later, and before she passed.
Right.
And I made sure I stayed there, because for me, staying around gave her a little bit of her son.
Of Greg, yes.
You know?
Right,
Yes.
that's
and
true.
so and I didn't do it for anybody else but for my mother-in-law, and I
Right.
knew that's what my husband would want
Right,
to do.
of course.
And I can see it. She never said it, but I can see it in her eyes. When I walked in the room, guys, it was a different look
Right.
that she gave, because I was that little bit of hope of her holding on to her
Right.
son and helping
Exactly.
her get through her process. You know, and being my mother-in-law was like this, and to the end. Yeah.
Because you often wonder about that. You think
Yeah.
about it all the time. I think
Yeah.
it's just human.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like, could I go on?
Yeah.
I know. I mean, because we think about it,
know,
not,
you don't.
because the world is so fast. People drive fast. People lose their tempers fast. We don't, well, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying for myself, I don't live with my children. They're grown.
Exactly.
But I think about them every day. Do I miss them every day? Of course I do.
Yes.
Do I worry about them? Yes.
And I used to wonder why my mother, my grandmother, my father, like, you don't need to be out by yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, that was before I had, pre me
Yes.
having my son.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
I had my son.
And now you understand.
You want it, and I get it. You know, I was never that mom that, you know,
Hovered over.
him. I wasn't a helicopter mom.
Yeah.
I didn't keep him in clothes or anything like that. But it's easy to do.
Yes, it is
Because
easy.
you, mama
You
bear.
have to talk to yourself
Yeah,
about
you want
that.
to protect
You
them.
do have to
At
talk to
all
yourself.
costs.
Right, exactly.
And when they say you go to jail for your child,
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you will.
Yes.
don't mess with my
yes.
child.
Exactly.
I'm going to jail.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
Don't worry,
true.
guys. I got her bail money.
I'm going. Yeah.
Look, you see, I ain't saying I'm gonna talk out of. No, I just got the bill.
Because that love that you have is truly unconditional.
Right.
Yes.
And that means no matter what path your child chooses in life,
That's true.
it
That's very
doesn't come
true.
with conditions. Or if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, if
Right.
you're this, if you love
Yeah.
this person, if you love that person, it doesn't come with that.
Yes,
You just
yes.
love that child no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah.
So to
that-
lose that.
and this is true. This is just maybe a subject that we need to, make sure that
Revisit.
we come back for the last few minutes before we go to commercial break. Let's talk about the prevention. Anybody out there, the easiest way, don't even have to worry about calling all these digits. Just call 988. That is the new hotline number.
Right.
Just dial 988.
Yes.
If you're in a crisis situation and you need someone to talk to, it's a 24-hour. Just dial 988. And let's talk about the prevention. One of the things I will say, I am proud of the mayor in D.C., Mary Bowser, and she's getting a lot of pushback because she just passed a law that we can do prevention to mental health. People. So if a police officer now have the right, if they see someone in crisis and they know that they are in crisis, then they have the right to be able to check them in to get help. Because before,
Right.
I
say, with
hope
people,
they're getting the training for
yeah,
that.
Yes.
no, they definitely getting the training. But for me, people are against it, but I'm for it. Let's try it. Yes, is it going to be a working process? Yes, it is. Like, is it going to be a lot of training? Yes, is it going to be a
They
lot
need to be
of
able
trial
to
and error?
recognize
Yes.
that people are in crisis.
Yes, because my thing, that was the part I was fighting all the time with my sister.
Right.
When I'm calling trying to be preventive, because I can see when the episode get ready to happen.
That's right.
Oh, just because she knew who the president was, she knew her name, she knew her address, she wasn't a harm to herself. Physically being able to see that, that nothing never happened. And why wait till it get to that
right.
point? That's why the
So a lot of them-
preventive, this is something that we need to be
Right.
doing for a while here. So for me, myself, maybe it's going to be a lot of kinks to get through.
But there is training
But
out there.
yes, but I'm just saying, even with the training and all that, it's going to be a lot of kinks that we got to get through. But I hope they don't stop, and then more
Right.
states will start,
To follow
practicing
behind
this
that.
because prevention is everything, guys.
That's
We
true.
shouldn't wait until they shooting up the school or
Or
killing
getting shot
themselves
themselves.
Or killing each other.
or killing each
Right,
other
right.
before we do something, because then it's too late. It
Yes.
is about the prevention. So again, if anybody out there and you just don't feel that you can talk to a close family member or close friend, then just call 988. Just always know it is a way that you can receive help. Just dial 988. So when we come back, we're going to have the inspirational moment with Marjorie Militant. See you on the other side. We'll be right back at you here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions.
Hello, my name is Tania McQueen. I'm the Residential Services Manager for Prestige Community Resources.
What our new facilities are respite centers. We're opening 2 in the city right now. Hopefully we'll expand to more. But respite centers are a place where people can come and get a little additional support with their mental health. Our one on Eastern Avenue is for men, and our one on Minnesota Avenue is for women. Our facilities are for all DC residents, especially focusing in on those in Ward 7 and 8. So those. They're really nice, and I'm excited for consumers to actually see them. What are the services that we're going to provide? Therapy, case management, medication management, all provided by professional staff, a licensed nurse practitioner, psychiatrists, sociologists, social workers, and then our paraprofessionals, our case managers. It's just a place where you can come and get the supports that you need to work on your personal goals, as well as to get your mental health straight. Simple, single adult, 18 years of age or older, a DC resident. You need to have insurance, but if you don't have it, it's okay. Still come, we'll work on getting you insurance. Have to have a negative COVID test, a negative TB test, and be willing to work on your mental health. For more information about respite services, you can contact us at 202-796-5000 or hit us up on our website at www.prestigecommunityresources.org.
Welcome back to Baad Ass Us, where the women are beautiful, accomplished, and determined, and our brothers are accomplished and divine. And as society sees us, we must still change the narrative, which is so befitting for this show.
Yes,
we have to change the narrative around mental health.
Yes,
exactly.
It is. Yes, yes. And we, get nice text messages and everything saying that, great show. So
we're going to constantly have this
Good
conversation,
topic.
though. I think it needs to be more.
And not only
Well, that's how we educate people.
Yes.
And not important. Just in May, we talk about mental health and
on a regular basis.
On a regular basis.
A check-in show. Every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that.
A wellness check.
Yes, exactly.
I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we do the health and wellness the fourth, what is it, the fourth Tuesday of every month?
So that can be a part of that.
So, maybe we can have a segment in there.
Yeah. Right. Because we reach one person, we're doing our job.
Exactly. And, we get ready to come up on a new year, so we can change some things up about
Most
the
definitely.
show. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we have a meeting. We got a meeting in the ladies.
That's right. Yes, but we're gonna Marjorie's gonna give us an inspirational moment because we need it right now because this show has been very heavy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, it's still going to be heavy probably, but
that's okay.
The topic is judge not.
Oh.
Yes.
And in Luke 6:37 it says, "Judge not, and you'll not be judged. Condemn not, and you'll not be condemned. Forgive, and you'll be forgiven." And just for me, that just means that showing compassion is so important. Empathy is important. Everybody is going through something.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And if you all don't mind, I read this today, and it's really a long piece, so I just picked out a couple of parts of it that I just want to read really quickly.
Okay.
And you don't even have to read it quickly.
Okay, I can read a little slower
than. Take your time, okay?
It doesn't always look like darkness. It doesn't always look like darkness, disheveled, discombobulated. Sometimes it looks like dance, like joy, like syncopated rhythms, like grace, like choreography, channeling ancestors' dreams. Sometimes we get so good at the act, at the entertainment, at wearing the mask, that we can fool ourselves a little bit, long enough for the public to believe that we have it all together. But the truth is, living is hard. Lonely is real. Grief is too heavy to hold. People don't check on the strong friends. Looks are often liars. Hopelessness can grow like weeds in the most beautiful garden. It doesn't always look like darkness. Sometimes it just looks like our reflection in the mirror. So if life feels like it's too much to take one more step, let someone hold your hand while you walk. You aren't alone, I promise. And again, just as Karen mentioned before, the suicide prevention hotline number is 1-800-273-TALK, or you can just call 988.
Let's take a breather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the scripture that you chose because judge not. Because like I said, when people say it's selfish, who are we to determine what selfish is as it pertains to what a person is going through or has been through,
Right.
and a decision that they make for their life.
Right. Right.
You know, who are we to judge? We could just only pray that his kids, his wife, could figure out a way to navigate this world without him.
Right.
And hoping that whatever he was struggling with mentally, that his kids could not possibly be struggling with the same thing.
Right.
Because it's embedded in our DNA.
Exactly.
And maybe it'll start a conversation in the household.
Right.
We don't know.
We just pray that they, get all the help that they need.
Yes.
And that they can be a light for someone else. Not now.
Yes.
Definitely.
And his mom
but
as well.
in the future. You're right.
Yeah, his mom.
She spoke out as well.
Yes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just pray for peace and understanding. We pray that, people get the help that they need. We pray that people realize that they need help. And don't be ashamed to talk about it, especially our brothers. Don't be ashamed. It's not weak. It's strong. It's strength. It's being strong when you can talk about your issues that you have.
Right, exactly.
Because there's strength in that.
Yes, you're being an example for others.
That's right.
You're helping yourself. You're learning how to live.
That's right. And because we have so many things that we're just dealing with on a regular basis, just dealing with life in general.
Right.
Compiled onto different traumas that you may have had or that you're going through.
Right.
But check on each other, become a village. You are your brother's keeper. We are responsible for everyone that we come in contact with. We have a responsibility. You good?
Yep.
Give
and
a
again,
person a hug.
remember to check on the strong ones too.
Most definitely. Those ones.
It's always like that.
Yes.
It definitely is.
And stop appearing to be strong.
When you need help.
Stop it. Because I think people go through that and then it's like, well, nobody ever check on me or nobody ever asked me if I need help. Stop creating this image. Show your vulnerability because people, we're surface level creatures. So if we see that you have it all together, people are going to assume that. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You have to let people know that I need help too.
Yeah.
And
you're right. I mean, it's not that people are trying to ignore you.
That's right.
But we're all in this fast-paced world, and we're all moving so fast that sometimes we don't see the things that are right in front of us. But if you don't bring it to my attention, there are some of us who do, and I think the three of us are those people too, who look and try to see those things.
Yes.
But everybody doesn't.
Yes.
So
I just thank God for my village, and I implore everyone to try to create one or get you one.
Right.
Get that person that you can talk to.
Yes.
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 Because I'll call somebody up in a minute.
Right.
And my village is strong.
And there's so many things you can do. There's the village, calling the prevention hotline, going into counseling, and I'm an advocate for going to church, but you do need help mental health wise too. But there's so many things that are good that can help.
It's help out there. It's resources out there.
Right. Exactly.
Yes, and it's going to be different. It look different for everybody, but the thing is, you're never alone. And I know sometimes when you are in your process, you do feel like you alone. You in it by yourself. No one will understand because you are this kind of person and you feeling this way, because sometimes we do, just because, like you said, the outer appearance of this person appears strong. How can you tell somebody you're really not feeling that strong,
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
and if you can't talk to your family or your friends, you're ashamed or whatever, talk to a stranger. You know how many strangers come to me and talk to me? And I know it's because they feel more comfortable because there's really no judgment. They don't know me.
Exactly.
Find you a stranger and put it all on them.
and that is the truth.
Talk to someone.
Right. And just like you talk to your neighbor, if you see someone who looks like they need an ear, offer it to them.
Yeah.
But like you said, because we can't hold on. Sometimes we hold on to things. We got to be able to forgive and not judge, and forgiveness is a big thing, and it's so hard for us to do because sometimes we be so hurt in our feelings that we don't want to forgive one another, and
that is a process as well.
Yes, and it
and
really
you have
is.
to let people go through that process.
Yes, and definitely, and because when you don't, you block your blessing when you don't get to a point that you have to heal from that. You just block your blessings, and you want your blessing to continue to flow. And just because you're upset with someone, it just is talking about even to the point of a funeral. Just went to a funeral and a person was like, I can't believe such and such a came. What? Whatever the situation was, it don't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
You put all that to the side and you pay your respects. Are you still sitting up here talking about, so, we got to know when to let go.
Force forgiveness on people.
Yeah.
It's a process. And
Yeah.
I say this again and again. Don't force people to forgive instantly. It's a process.
It is.
Because that process, it's not going to look like yours.
Yes.
Right.
And forgiveness doesn't look like what your forgiveness may look like to
Exactly.
someone.
Because really, the forgiveness part is for you.
Exactly.
So let me go through what I need to go through to get to forgiving you,
Exactly.
or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yes, what they say, forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. It really is, but everybody, that's just like
In their own
death and
time.
grief.
Does it in a
Grief
different way.
Is different for everyone. You can't tell somebody.
There's levels to it.
Yeah.
When they should stop grieving, and you can't tell nobody when they need to forgive. You can support, but not
Tell them, yes.
You can support.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we cross them lines. We don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Like you said, you can support, but you can't tell, because everybody process
And it's
is
not your
different.
experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody process is different, and that's just the way it is.
Right. And I guess, again, the biggest thing that I think I, want to convey is that we have to take the time to just stop for a minute and be quiet in whatever it is. And then speak. Don't just talk so quickly. Well, I can't believe he, or why did they?
'Cause words matter.
They really do.
And they do not return void.
No,
So
they
you have
do
to
not.
be careful.
And they do not what?
Return void.
Yeah.
You got to
Do
be
not.
careful. You got to really be careful and mindful of what
Right.
you say.
Because once it's out there, it's there.
Because you'll be presented
You
with that
can't
same
take it back.
obstacle.
Yeah.
And then what?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
you have
because
to be
life have a way of just,
Of
what,
course.
as they
Sense of
say,
humor. Full circle,
It does.
right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
full
very true.
circle.
Yeah.
My mom used to always say, be careful what you say.
Yes. But if you don't take anything away from us today, just like love on one another, check on everyone, including especially the strong people in your life, and just create that village. Talk about it. I talk about my story with the hopes that someone will open up about theirs. That's the only reason why I do it. Because I want to be of service to others, because
Right.
that's our only purpose here on this earth.
Right,
Is to be of
exactly.
service to others.
Very
And
true.
if my story can be of service to you, relieving some of your pain, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Because every
You've
time I
done
tell
your
a story,
part.
I relive the pain.
Yeah.
But guess what?
You did your part.
I did my part. I did the work, and I'm constantly doing the work. And I refuse to let anybody or anything take me back.
Right.
Amen. And I guess my last note I was saying that Marjorie come to you is just saying, I just say, it's a process. You have to trust the process, believe in the process, and doing that is believing in yourself and believing in higher power, and also using your village, using the means that is around you. I know sometimes it is hard for us to reach out and ask for that help or take help, because some of us, we so used to giving that we don't know how to receive. So, and
pride.
Yes.
It's a
And
sin.
yes. And so just know that, this is the time that, we need to have these conversations. We need to be open, and we need to be able to lean on each other, lean on the process, lean on the system, lean on the help that is available to us. It does. It saves lives when we are able to do that. Yes. And no matter what, we living in a world that we always say, oh, I've been busy. And that is a word for the last 3 years that I'm taking out my vocabulary, because we can never not be so busy that we're not checking on each other. Just a quick hello, a quick text, a quick something, we can all do that, So I'll say, yes, I have 4 days, because no, we're never too busy to do what needs to be done or what we want to do. So no, I'm never too busy. I have 4 days, but I'm not too busy.
Right.
That's how I would like to leave it. Marjorie?
I'm just going to say, that, again, we are going to once a month check in with you all. Make sure that everyone is doing all right or on their way to doing all right.
That's right.
And just
And
remember,
if you're not doing all right, just know that, you're not alone.
right.
We are here with you.
And just remember that judging is not what we do.
No.
And again, I'm just going to quote this part again. Looks are often liars. Hopelessness can grow like weeds in the most beautiful garden. We are blessed with that most beautiful garden, but it doesn't mean that sometimes things don't look like weeds.
It's true.
So,
And protect your mental space. Protect your mental space at all costs.
yeah.
Yes. Believe that.
That's right. Your life depends on it.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes. And I like that part too about weeds, because sometimes weeds can look so pretty, can look like the flowers and everything, and weeds actually
those
kill.
purple ones? Yeah.
Yes. And weeds actually kill, so yeah. That's a good one. So we are, guys, I'll tell you, we're going to make sure we stay in touch. We're going to have this subject matter to be talked about more on this platform. And we want to hear from you. If you want to hear us talk about a different part of this subject matter, please just go visit us on the web, send us an email, and we will be there. We will love to hear from you. And that is www.v as in vision and A&D, P as in purpose, mediaproductions.com, and we will be right there for you. Call or text us. You have viewers, you have family and friends, you got our numbers. We would love to hear from you. Yes. Until next time, stay in your vision, stay in your purpose, and God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.